So now we're going to talk about level curves. And these are really a second way to help us visualize a function. So a second way to visualize a function of two variables is using level curves. Previously, we had traces that helped us visualize these things, but now we are going to talk about level curves. And really, I think of these as being like these are a two-dimensional, 2D picture to help you visualize some kind of three-dimensional surface. And so when we're talking about level curves, what you really should be kind of thinking in the back of your head is think of a contour map. So if you've ever seen one of these, it's like maybe for like a mountain region or something like that, and it helps you visualize what's going on in that region. And so if there's much space between level curves, indicates Z is changing slowly, but if you have little space between the curves, it indicates a rapid change in Z. So we're just going to look at these through some examples. So we're going to consider the hemisphere given by the function f of xy. It's the square root of 64 minus x squared minus y squared. And I want us to sketch a contour map of this surface using level curves corresponding to c equals 0, 1, 2, all the way up through 8. So here's my function. It's the square root of 64 minus x squared minus y squared. And now what you do is you plug in c for the output of your function for z. So c is the square root of 64 minus x squared minus y squared. So we'll square both sides to get rid of our square root. And then I'm going to maneuver some of my terms around. So it looks like I have, this is the equation of a circle. This is the equation of a circle that's centered at the origin, and its radius is going to be the square root of 64 minus c squared. So here we're going to plug in our values of c. C is 0. right? The radius of the circle is going to be 8. If c equals 1, the radius is going to be the square root of 63. And c equals 2, the radius will be the square root of 60. C equals 3. What's the radius going to be? The square root of 55. C equals 4. The radius will be square root of 50. When c equals 5, the radius will be square root of 39. When c equals 6, the radius will be the square root of 28. 7, the radius will be square root of 15. And 8, the radius is 0, so it's really just, it's not even a circle. It's just the point 0, 0 on our graph, because a circle of radius 0, it's not really a circle, it's just a point. And so now, to sketch this contour map, you're going to draw all of these circles in one picture, and you're going to label them with their C value. So let's try to draw the picture of all these concentric circles here. And the radius we said starts off being 8. There's 4. There's 8. So there's the first one. This is C, where I'll say C1 is 8. And then the next circle has radius square root of 63. That's pretty close to that same radius. Square root of 63 and 8 are pretty close to each other. So I should draw the second circle pretty close to this other circle. Let's see if I can keep going here. So that would be, that was C equal to 0. The second one was C1 equal to 1. Then 2, it was square root of 60, which is still pretty big. So you're going to draw another circle pretty close to that same previous one. So then here we go. Here's our next one. Again, pretty close. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to draw circles on this thing, but you know that they're supposed to be circles, hopefully. So that would be C equals 2. And then C equals 3. So there's C1 equal to 2. C1 equal to 3. And then 4, we've got another one that's pretty close to the same radius. So here's another circle. There's C1 equals 5. sorry, C1 equals 4, then 5, it'll be a little bit smaller now, so my circles are starting to look worse and worse. Sorry about that. So there's C1 equals 5, then 6. It's gonna have a smaller radius now between 5 and 6, so that is C1 equals 6. Then 7, my radius is a little smaller than 4. So right there, and then 8 would be that point. So this one is C1 equals 7 and C1 equals 8. And there's our contour map. And again, you can think about this shape as being made up of these layers, and if you pull them out vertically based on your C value, that would give you an image of your shape.